Hi, William Hououin here. A few days ago, Josh V&H, a YouTuber I really enjoy, made a video about villagers and heroes. It was titled Worst MMO Ever. It's a series he's doing, and he's commenting on the flaws that MMO have. Um, And I want to preface this with saying that I'm not very good at commentary videos. I'm only using my phone, so I don't have much of a balance option. So I'm just gonna stop the video to comment because yeah, I can't adjust volume afterwards. Anyway, and I want to say that I am a Josh Patreon supporter since the time he had like 10. Uh, so I really enjoy his content and I really enjoy Villagers and Heroes, and it puts me in kind of a weird spot. And I've seen many reactions to his video like, oh, he didn't play enough, or he didn't know that, oh, that's not true. Um, the game you play is not your identity. It's not an attack against you as a person, or even an attack to the devs. It's just laughing at the flaws a particular game has. And I think, I mean, most people enjoyed the video. Most people were fine with it. But uh, look, I feel I had to comment on this, and so let's go. Let's watch together the video, and I'll put some of the things he got wrong straight, if that makes sense. Let's hope it does because I'm not doing this twice.
Sit. Sit down. Sit. Enter. Why are you standing? I'm not pressing anything to make you stand up. Sit down. Forward/sit. How is this difficult? Why do you keep standing up? Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so anyone, I tried to reproduce this bug. I think it's worth looking into uh, from a dev perspective. I've hosted throughout the years countless of events like poetry where people were just sitting in Summer's Hollow listening to poetry, and I've never seen this bug, and I've never heard of anyone having this bug. Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen to him. I think it did happen, but I wonder what particular what needed to happen to make this bug happen. I was surprised when I saw it. I don't know about you, but I was.
Welcome, I'm Josh V&H, and this is Worst MMO Ever, a series where I play the worst MMOs I can find so you don't have to. Drop a like on the video or sub to the channel for more MMO stuff, ring the bell for all the future notifications. And as usual, a huge thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and
My name
Twitch
is
who
at
keep
the
the
top
channel going.
left.
More on how you can support at the end. For now, let's begin. Today we are playing Villagers and Heroes, a free MMO available on both PC and mobile. I'll be playing the PC version and judging it as if it were a full PC game because, as we'll see later, the cash shop certainly has PC prices. Now stick with me here because we're going to see later that this game understands what it means to be an MMO only on the surface, and once you dig a little deeper you'll discover it's the most formulaic, paint-by-numbers approach to making an MMO you could ever hope to find. Steam charts.
It is kind of paint by numbers. I'm up to this day, I'm not sure what he meant by um, uh, oh my, I don't even remember how he said it, but like it is an MMO, it understands what system needs to have to be an MMO, but it's, oh man, that's not starting well. I just didn't understand what he just said about not understanding the MMO stuff.
Put the highest ever player count at 2,898 with a recent count of 9.
Let's
Paint
listen.
by numbers approach. Stick with me here, because we're going to see later that this game understands what it means to be an MMO only on the surface, and once you dig a little deeper, you'll discover it's the most formulaic, paint-by-numbers approach to making an MMO you could ever hope to find.
I kind
Steam
of
charts
don't
put the
get
highest
that.
ever player count at 2,898, with a recent count of 19, which is a player drop from highest to lowest of around 99.4%.
Okay, so people who play Villagers and Heroes knows that the Steam charts doesn't mean much because it's now fine. It's something of the past, but back in the days, you could not play on Steam and on your phone on the same account. So most people would just play on the PC on the official account from the website, and then they would log on their phone or any mobile devices they had on the go. So playing on Steam is the worst thing you could do back in the days. Now it's cross-platform with Steam, PC, mobile, everything works. You have access to your account everywhere. So I do believe that we could see the Steam numbers go up in, you know, the future.
First off, the loading splash screen has the close button in the top right, but it's got a little wooden edging flourish around it, and I like this. It reminds me of those late 90s, early 2000s PC games that tried to visually match the UI to the feeling of the game. Character creation and, oh, this is nice. It's voiced, like a storybook, although I do seem to be playing the human version of Shrek. So character creation is done in a story-like way. You turn the pages of a book, selecting your class, your starting zone, your abilities, and the voiceover fills in the story as you go, and this generates your starting profile, which is actually a really nice fantasy way of doing it. Now, the hero part of the title is your traditional MMO adventure, while the villager aspect is growing a little homestead, so we get to choose a house. I go with Spooky Mansion, because there's a small chance some of you are probably watching this at Halloween, and you'll think I've been clever. The game starts, and the tutorial is voiced, and voiced quite nicely, in fact.
It really wasn't my doing. I can assure you that I am an experienced driver and had nothing at all to do with our carriage just breaking down. You believe me, don't you?
So the first quest is voiced too, it's a strong start. We get movement instructions, some quick controls, and then I need to catch a minnow. I also open the menu to rebind some keys, and rebinding keys is fine. It's not bad so far. The graphics are actually quite nice. They are stylized and chunky and quaint, and the ambient light rays from above are actually quite nice. And now for combat. Behold.
Click on an enemy to select. Right-click to attack, or use an ability from the combat bar. Oh!
I'll be honest, I laughed when I look at the combat in the early game. Um, there's there's something to do to make this more exciting. We all know that in the raids and higher level zones, you get many skills to choose from, and it gets quicker. It's not action combat, but it gets better. But it's true that surely there could be some ways to make this more interesting using a skill or, you know, not just auto attack without any danger of being killed.
Okay, so few issues. As I played this game, I came to realize something. Villagers and Heroes is a game made by someone who understands the mechanical systems involved with an MMO, but doesn't understand what to actually do with them. It feels like someone has made a paint-by-numbers MMO. Everything is technically there without the understanding or the passion or the reasoning behind it being there. I'll explain as we
I I still don't get exactly what he's trying to say with that. Um, that all the mechanics are there, but the devs don't understand what to do with them. Um, maybe it's a language barrier. I just don't. Uh, understand enough. We all know that Villagers and Heroes devs are passionate because they've been supporting this game for a long time. They come to the player hosted podcast. They're very into it with the player base. So we know it's all good. Now, passion might not be something that you can just feel by, doing a tutorial zone. You can't argue with Josh. If that's how he felt playing, then I mean he's right about his own feeling about the game.
Go on. Combat is basically right-click to attack, use abilities. Super simple stuff. Oh, a pop-up to pay real money to buy an upgrade pack to my class. How about you let me play the game for more than 5 minutes before trying to sell me some microtransactions?
I totally agree. This thing comes, I mean, it comes too soon. I don't think it's a bad purchase, even though the best one you can get if you're a new player listening to this, when the pop-up for the discounted mount pops, buy that. It's like $1 or two, and it's worth it. 100%. It makes all your mounts go to the premium speed. If you're there for a while, it's definitely worth. But yeah, the deluxe shaman upgrade pack popping right in the very beginning. Yeah, that's I don't think it should be there, honestly.
Okay, the next fight sees us take on 3 cultists and they attack one at a time because that's Hollywood rules, and the voice acting, while being decent, is not balanced at all. The actors are good, the guy they hired to balance audio in this game is not, because the sound effects are way louder than they should be.
The Dark Tyrant will rise again!
This is an issue we'll bump into multiple times. I click on this mount icon and the cash shop pops up, and oh, trust me, we will come back to this later. And now a mini-boss fight, which isn't bad. There are some mechanics and you have to dodge the red. My issue isn't with the programming of the fight, that seems to be solid. It's with the emotional feel. It feels empty. It feels hollow. It feels like nothing important is happening right now. Graphically it looks nice and ambient music fits, but it feels soulless, and this is something we'll come back to again and again and again as I work out how to explain it better throughout this video. Turns out that was an evil dude, but it wasn't really him. It was a project.
The soulless comment, once again, if that's how he felt, then he's right about how he feels. I wonder if it's because the game is kind of old. Maybe it's not uh, conveying emotion like games like The Last of Us could do, or um, I don't know. I don't know how to comment on that. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Of him made by some cultists, and now we're off to our own little township. Quick note about the camera, it's odd, and there's something wrong. It's bumpy. I don't know how or why, but it's not smooth. There are subtle leaps and bumps while moving, and I will figure out what this is later. Finish the first quest and we get treated to another bit of unbalanced audio.
Then stay here in Summer's Hollow and see what you can find out.
Now, in most MMOs, the quest line or the main story quest somehow involves you directly, but the quest lines in Villagers and Heroes are somewhat nonsensical. There's an evil lord returning, a bunch of cultists are involved, some sociopathic actress is demanding everyone's attention, and this dude with horses and a strange voice.
I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Not crazy.
Ah yes, I can see this is going to be full of lol random humour, isn't it? Quirky for the sake of being quirky to cover up the fact that everything's only skin deep. And oh, when you level up...
Imagine if he had gotten to the bra in the Pyron storyline. Imagine.
Get a round of applause, probably because the developers are genuinely impressed anyone stuck around long enough to level up. Leveling up gets you talent points, and you spend these in various
The applause, do we get that every time we level? I don't think so. I'm wondering if it's triggered by leveling up or it's just because it's in Summer Hollows and just in his back there's the singer and dancer and all that. Uh, if it's a coincidence, it's quite funny actually.
trees, and there's also a reset prestige system. Once you've maxed out, you can return to level 1, which resets all the quests and levels, but grants you 5 bonus permanent talent points. So by leveling, resetting, and leveling again, you can become super powerful. Now, from what I read, prestiging doesn't change anything about the gameplay, it just resets it. So it's a way of essentially adding infinite content, provided you want to do the same things forever. The arrows on the floor are a nice touch though. They are your tracked quests. The yellow arrows are side quests, the main storyline is purple, and they get bigger as you get closer to the destination. It's a nice optional navigational touch. This quest sees us getting an autograph from this insufferable actress, voiced by someone who has absolutely nailed the insufferable actress persona.
Darling, how do you do? I always make a point to mingle with the commoners before a show. It lends such an air of gravitas to my performances, to be among the filthy and the vulgar, and to hear of their struggles.
After getting the autograph, we insult her and she explodes. As an actor, I can confirm this happens. If you damage a performer's ego even slightly, they will blow up. Now this is the main plot of the early game. Investigate this whole exploding actress thing. This local guard saw me ask for an autograph, then he saw the actress explode, so of course he decides I am the ideal person to investigate this matter and gives me the authority to go wherever I want. Okay, I understand this game is fantasy, but look at the size of this backstage area. I was a theatre actor for years. There is no theatre in the world with this much unused backstage space. Now in real life I go and grab some lunch and the game logs me out after 30 minutes of inactivity, so when I come back I see 2 buttons, log into the world or raids. Ooh, interesting, a dedicated raiding area. I'll try this later. I like raids. Oh, I've figured out the camera issue as well. The camera has a gentle soft lock to lock behind the character, so whenever you're almost directly behind but not quite, it adds a little bit of drag force to try and correct itself, but this drag force is added even if you're moving the camera at the time, so manually moving the camera doesn't actually give you full control. It's mostly full control with added in-game corrections, which just ends up feeling bumpy.
I genuinely think this should be looked into, the camera thing. I play on my phone most of the time. I never felt that, but just tell me in the comment section if you PC players have these issues, and I think it would be worthwhile to do a forum post about it.
On through this riveting plot and find an occult note in this chest, but this quest is happening in the overworld, and the overworld is shared with other players, and there's another player killing all the mobs I should have been fighting. Combat is... well, that's just it. It is. It is in the game. This game has combat. That's what you can say. It's not good. There's no thrilling music or animations or abilities or interrupting or tactics. It's not bad. It's not glitching or unresponsive. It just is. I don't feel like I'm in combat. I feel like I'm just here and the enemy's just here. So far, Villagers and Heroes feels like an incredibly mediocre game. Like this is the game version of absolutely average. The evil shadow dude appears outside again and demands we release someone called Tarquin from prison. Chat to some more NPCs and it seems that this is the plot. The play, the actress, the ghost dude, this is the main story now. Oh, and that ghost that appeared? He's called the Malicious Miscreant, which sounds like a Saturday morning Scooby-Doo villain. And the good Scooby-Doo from the 90s, not whatever this is. The next map is actually quite nice, at least visually. The sightlines are great, the render distance is decent, the colour palette is spectacular, it is vibrant, it pops, and that's one thing Villagers and Heroes does pretty well. Graphically, the ambience in the areas is decent. As for the graphical style, it feels like child-friendly Warcraft. If Warcraft was Lego, this is Playmobil. Pryan is a crazy cat lady who talks to grapes and needs us to kill 6 bog frogs, so we set off to do that, which unfortunately means more combat. Okay, here's something I'll come back to later with the gathering and the crafting, but combat in this game is just so mechanically dull, but it's not bad enough to be entertaining in an ironic way. It's not the Room levels of bad, it's just going through the motions.
So yeah, combat is not bad to the point where you can laugh at it and make fun of it, but it's not, entertaining that much. And I mean, yeah, at least in the beginning. So once again, how could we make combat a bit more engaging at the start is something that would be good to look into because it's not wrong.
Looking out the window in the morning and seeing the sky is kinda grey, but it's not cold. This is the combat system version of a slightly cloudy Thursday. Grape Lady tells us the actress understudy bought some poison stuff from a dude, so it's likely the understudy wanted to kill the main actress to take her part, so we set off to talk to a poison seller who happens to live on Hayes Farm.
One thing I really enjoy of Josh videos is that he is paying a lot of attention to the story. It's obvious that he read it all and he understands what's going on. He's not just, clicking super fast on the quest line dialogue option. And I really enjoy this. I mean, yeah, he could have skipped through it and he didn't. So
Greatest farm in all the land. He won't help us until we kill some boars. Dude, you literally sell poison. Surely you could just poison whatever you need killed, but okay. Poison seller tells us the understudy bought some poison and then asked about a book on summoning some evil stuff. A book written by a prisoner called Tarquin. The poison seller sent the understudy to the bookseller, so we follow the trail and the bookseller needs some spiders killed before they will help us. This entire game is just one small favour. The spiders lead us to this creepy house and a cultist cave inside. We find a peg leg. We then confront the understudy about this, and the voice actor they've got for her is actually quite good.
Death? Can this be? I, Calypso, bid you farewell.
Most of the early game seems to just be running backward and forth, and the walking animation is fine. The controls are fine. The whole experience is a blanket of...
The beginning of the game going back and forth, I mean, maybe I didn't play enough MMOs, even though I feel I've played quite a few. That's kind of what MMOs are. I mean, yeah, doing some favors to people that are standing right to each other, you know. Hear me, Final Fantasy 14. The dude is like 3 steps away. Just talk to him. Don't send me. Gosh.
Meh. I unlock a travel pad. These are basic teleporters for quick travel. I check out the world map and yep, it's actually pretty big. I'm hoping it's full of varied and intriguing content and not just copy-paste systems of the same combat but with higher numbers. We continue the adventure onwards and hunt down the book, and on the way we meet Simon Miller.
No ball jokes. Not one, hear me?
The general ambience of the areas is above par, mostly due to the colour palette. The models aren't bad, the music, well, we'll talk about that later, but visually it's not awful. I mean, look, this Valley of Oblivion is great. Purples and deep blues and blacks. It looks nice. Not particularly memorable, but it looks nice. And if you're thinking, hey, have they balanced the audio levels yet? No. No, they have not. So these dudes are called the Ice Watch, and they keep these torches from being lit, because if they ever are lit, the Dark Lord returns. Cool lore. You'd think maybe just, I don't know, destroy the torches, but hey, you know what you're doing. They send me to dig up some dirt. On the way, I kill a bounty boss. Now, bounty bosses respawn daily and give increased experience and good possible item rewards. They are no different mechanically to any other enemy, except they have more health. Are you starting to see what I mean when I say this game is mechanically fine but emotionally vapid? Like, the developer knew ooh, we should put some daily bosses in. But they didn't know what the daily bosses had to be, so they just put regular enemies with more health. In the dirt, we find the actress's engagement ring, and we take this to a specialist on gemstones so they can read the...
What would you reply to the bounty argument? I don't think he's wrong. Um, Not necessarily on the intention of the devs, but yeah, I mean, and I don't think, you know, when you play a game for years, at some point you do just go through the motions. But I don't think that bounties in higher level zones have complex mechanics. Elders, yes, they do. But the bounties, I don't think so. I mean, some I think do some debuffs. I mean, yeah. Just comment if you can say more.
aura around the ring, and on the way, I bump into... me. One of you, someone from the Discord who saw that I was playing this game, downloaded it, started a character, and started asking questions in town pretending to be me. I
That is hilarious. Congratulations to anyone who did that. That's funny.
knew this would happen eventually, but to do this, you had to download and play the game, so there are no real winners here. Here's an irrelevant but really annoying touch. The experience bar at the bottom is divided into smaller sections. That's fine, most games do that. Now, how many sections do you think there are? Well, there's 8 on the left, so you'd assume there'd be 8 on the right. 16 little sections, but no, there are 8 on the left and 7 on the right. The XP bar is not evenly balanced. It's just got 15 sections. This irritates me way more than it should. Just make it 16. Halving things 4 times makes 16 sections. Why is it 15 sections? We finally...
Anyone knows why it's that way? It is indeed. I mean, I never noticed it. I don't really care, but I imagine someone with OCD and it must be a nightmare. I mean, at this point, it's making it equal should be almost an accessibility option for OCD people. I mean, seriously.
meet the dude who can read gemstones, and his model is terrifying. This is Eamon, clearly some sort of nightmare creature. The model does have arms, but they clip into his gigantic stomach, creating this absolute monstrosity. He needs us to collect some food before he reads the gem's aura. Oh, whenever you complete a quest objective, no matter how small the objective is, the game plays this really loud, obnoxious pencil scribbling sound. If you play this game, you best get used to hearing that every few minutes. Eamon says the ring's aura is bad, the actress's marriage was a sham and her husband hated her. Well, I mean, yeah, we've met her, we don't need a seer to tell us that. Back in town, there's even more drama. People are disappearing, but no one knows why. So we investigate further, because apparently we are the only saviour this town has. I wonder how popular the mobile version of this game is, because if this released on PC, it would almost immediately be forgotten. Well, Google rates it as 4.3, meaning...
I mean, the game was released on PC and survived for, what, 7 years before going mobile, so I don't know.
This game is as highly rated as Gardenscapes. Off to the docks now. Nice little garden assets of growing stuff and more fetch quests. Talk to such and such, go and hand in to so and so, and now we're off to kill some rats. One of the rats drops a lockbox, and oh right, it's a premium lockbox that requires a premium key bought for real money. Well, this is a good time to look at the cash shop.
I know some people will say, oh, but keys can drop. Yeah, I got 2 in 3+ years. So yeah, but it's true that they are sold in the Darig zone, and you can get some in the auction house. But of course, a new player can't know that. So yeah, I mean, his comment about that is fair because he cannot know that there's other means to get the keys.
Then, the cash shop in Villagers and Heroes is extensive. You can buy everything from costumes to pets to mounts to straight up skilling boosts, and the skilling system we will explore later. But here's what catches my eye in the cash shop. You can buy a dragon mount for 600 coins. But just like every other scummy cash shop, the coin packs are sold in awkward sizes that don't relate to what you actually need to pay for the things that you want. So you can buy 350 or 1,000. And 1,000 coins is going to cost you £36. That's $50. A key for the lockbox will cost you 6 coins, by the way, sold in awkwardly sized packs again, so you're always just above or just below what you think you should be buying. As for mechanical advantages, well, yeah, you can buy a pair of boots that doubles your jump height. Can't remember any other game that straight up sells you a better jump in the cash shop, but there you are. There's also a monthly sub club called the Ardent Society for $10 a month. You can get cheaper prices in the shop if you're a paying sub. What a great deal. But it's this pack that really annoys me. The most expensive pack.
I mean, you also get, double XP and a lot of potions and other consumables. I mean, yeah, I mean, money is always an issue, and I wish we were living in another world. I wish, honestly, I know most people won't agree, but I wish this game was like subscription based and you pay $10 a month and that's it. I hate cash shop and I've seen cash shop in MMOs that had a box price plus a mandatory subscription plus a cash shop. I mean, yeah, and yeah, 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 it sucks that there is a cash shop, and it sucks that you cannot just buy exactly the number of crowns you need. It all sucks, but it is what it is. If we want to keep the game needs to make some money, and that's how it goes. It sucks. It does.
I can find the Brood of Dragons pack. It contains 4 dragon mounts and 4 dragon pets for 1,950 coins. Do you want to see the 4 different mounts and 4 different pets you get? Here you go. Palette swaps. Literal palette swaps of 1 mount model and 1 pet model, but in 4 different colours. All for the low price of just over $90. You know what, maybe it's time to try the...
How you can argue with that? I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Um, Maybe the pack should be lowered in price, Uh, it would have probably it would have been less bad if it was like the price of 2 dragons instead of, you know, I mean, I think I didn't do the math, all right. I'm tired. Let's keep on.
raids from the main menu, so I log out and I try and go to raiding. We're greeted with a long, ominous text intro, explaining how heroes have ventured into an endless pyramid-style dungeon and never return, so now it's our turn, and isn't that basically just the plot to Death Trap Dungeon? So I excitedly click go in, and no, raids are for level 20 players and over. No raids for you.
My criticism here is that you should not be able to, click on raids from the character selection menu if you're not level 20. Like when he clicked on it, it should have said you need to be level 20 instead of, going on the lore and all the thing to ultimately uh get gosh, what's the word? Disappointed.
Get back to grinding and maybe consider buying the $90 dragon pack. You know what, forget the main quest, let's go and craft stuff, because everyone tells me the crafting in this game is pretty good. So I talked to some crafting tutors and they set me off on a quest to go and talk to all the other crafting tutors and go and do some small tasks for them. This is basically a load of walking from one teacher to the other and then being given materials and interacting with crafting stations to make stuff. And here's my issue with crafting. The game has gathering professions like woodcutting and mining and fishing, but they're all mechanically exactly the same. And the making professions like blacksmithing or wood turning or cooking are also exactly the same, but they are also heavily monetized. Like here, the interface is mechanically solid. It's laid out fine, you can see the items and recipes on the left, you can see what you can make in the middle, and you click to make it on the right. This makes sense. But you'll notice you can increase the amount of items you are making per crafting attempt. Now, each crafting attempt only takes a second or two, regardless of how many you're making. So if you make loads of items because you've got loads of resources, you'll gain loads of experience in one go. So it's super efficient to do this. But making more than the base minimum needs resources called Motes of Yorick, and you'll get given some for free, but when you've used them, you need to buy them in the cash shop. It's a premium item.
Did you ever bought modes? I know I didn't. I buy them with gold in the auction house. And again, I don't think that's something that a new player will know, but modes are very, very easy to find and to buy with gold. It's not an only premium item. But you can't hold it against him because he don't know. He's starting, he's seeing that, and he saw that there was that premium item in the store. But yeah, if you're a new player listening to this, modes are incredibly easy to get for free.
Used to vastly speed up crafting, and you will need hundreds of them. So I craft some wood into some better wood and then into an axe, and in the traditional MMO crafting style it is way worse than the axe I got from a level 1 enemy drop. Then I go to do some cooking and hang on. This music. I know this music. This was in Secondhand Lands, another game I've played but tried to block from memory. Just listen. You will know this music too. I downloaded Shazam just to find this bit of music. It's called The Builder by Kevin MacLeod. This dude makes a load of generic video game background music. If you're a small independent studio making a game, you can license this guy's music out. But it seems even though Villagers and Heroes are selling $90 palette swapped packs, they are still...
I agree, but Villagers and Heroes is made by a small independent studio. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Using generic background music. I checked the other areas in the game and yep, it's basically all this guy's stuff. Now I'm sure I'll get people in the comments saying, Josh, that's what the music is designed for. If you're making a small game, you're meant to be able to license out someone else's music. And yes, that's true. But an MMORPG is not a small game. I make some food. Remember, crafting time is the same no matter how much you're making, so Motes of Yorick are basically a pay-for-win crafting boost. On my way to the next station, I kill Shrook the sheep, who was a bounty enemy. Whoever put a bounty on a sheep, you can sleep safely once again. One thing I do notice doing these crafting quests, your inventory fills up with crafting materials super quickly, like each profession spams you with stuff. And you have 2 bags as standard, and then you need to buy the rest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this system is designed to make you buy bags, not actually be the best it could be. It's 50 premium coins per bag, by the way. I need to make some food using peas to finish a quest, but I accidentally used up all the peas just messing around with the system, and the trainer won't give me any more. So before I finish, I need to...
Tip for new players: if you need peas, potato, blueberry, just ask in World Chat, and someone will send you for free in your mailbox. Just a tip.
Find a way to grow peas. Also, I need some wood, so let's go and get some. I find a tree and begin to chop it down with my sickle. Why? Why are you using a sickle to chop a tree?
Indeed.
That NPC is using an axe. I'm a shaman. I have an axe as a weapon. Just use the axe. Move areas to go and catch some fish and pick some apples. Loading screens are adverts for the cash shop, by the way, unless they aren't, in which case they're adverts for raid bosses you can't kill. Fishing is click on an area and then fish just appear. Just how woodcutting was click on a tree and then wood just appears. And picking apples is click on a tree and then apples appear. Look, I know this system is designed to be interactive for mobile users to click on stuff, but you know what happens if you don't click the resources that appear? They go into your inventory. Anyway, you've just put interactive clicking in with no actual gameplay mechanic behind it. There's no downside if you don't.
It's for impatient people. You know, when you're bored because you're waiting for the 60 second of gathering, well, you can click on stuff while you wait. That's why.
Do this, there's no advantage if you do. And when I start mining, I realise why I hate this so much. Woodcutting, fishing, apple picking, mining, all the gathering professions are palette-swapped versions of the other. Click resource giver, wait. They aren't different or unique in any way. Now let's compare this to, say, RuneScape, a game with lots of gathering. Mining in RuneScape gives one resource per click, then you must find a new resource. Woodcutting gives multiple resources per click, but then must be moved on from. Fishing gives multiple, provided you have a third-party resource like bait or feathers. Farming gives various yields based on how much compost you have used. Small, subtle, mechanical differences that make the gathering professions feel different from each other. And the crafting screen is the same for every profession. Use resource A to make resource B, then combine B and C to make D. Look, this is definitely a crafting system, but it is the most basic, simplistic, uninspired system you could possibly have. You've got 4 or 5 gathering professions which are all carbon copies of each other with different named resources. And then several crafting professions which again are identical. The crafting system isn't deep, it's just copy-pasted 5 times. It's not bad, it's not good, it just is. If this game were a spice, it would be flour. When people tell me they're making an MMORPG and it's going to have gathering and crafting, this is what they mean.
You know, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Don't don't feel bad. I mean, if you enjoy playing V&H, no matter what people will say, if you enjoy it, don't, don't feel bad. I mean, it's fine. I love Villagers and Heroes. I left Final Fantasy XIV to play Villagers and Heroes. I mean, at first it was for convenience because I could play on the bus and on lunch break, and then I got to know people, and it kind of became my home MMO, and I'm fine with it. And I mean, people can laugh, but if I'm having fun, I'm winning.
This is what they think is good, and it's not. It's an incredibly safe, simple system. It doesn't engage, it doesn't offend, it doesn't innovate, it doesn't confuse. It is a crafting system. It just is. Villagers and Heroes is the MMO version of a film you know you've seen but can't remember because it did nothing either well enough or bad enough to be memorable. It's like the second album from a band you like. It's not bad, it's just not good. The adventure, if you can call it that, continues and we talk to the Bug Master, whose actual in-game title is Master Bugger. No, there's no joke there, that's too easy. Mildren needs bugs. We collect bugs the same way we collect absolutely everything else. Click the object and wait for the items to appear. Then we get sent into the caverns. Oh, I've got it. I've got the perfect feeling of playing this game. Years ago, a friend told me the band Wheatus were playing at a nearby bar. Now, Wheatus are famous for one song, Teenage Dirtbag, so we went along. I mean, I'm not a massive Wheatus fan. I don't know if there are any massive Wheatus fans, but everyone liked that song. It's probably going to be a good time. The bar was pretty full, people were having a good time, and Wheatus started playing, and they played every song except Teenage Dirtbag, because they knew the moment they did, everyone would leave. Now, waiting for that song was an interesting experience. It wasn't awful, it just wasn't great. It was a state of, I am here and this is okay, but I know it could be better. Playing Villagers and Heroes feels exactly like that, except you know there is no Teenage Dirtbag at the end. You know they're going to pack up and leave. Playing Villagers and Heroes is like...
I mean, there is great stuff coming later on the game when you play. I mean, the raiding is quite good. He didn't try that. Even zones are interesting and full of players. This is where I met most of my friends in Villagers and Heroes, so we could say that even Zone are teenage dirtbag song, you know? Uh, you don't know there won't be that good song you're waiting for because uh, y you didn't went far enough, which is fine because the worst MMO ever series is about, you know, um, having fun with flaws in MMO's early game. That's what all those videos are, and that's what makes them funny, you know? It's fine. But there is that great song later on the game, at least for me, that's for sure.
Watching a cover version of your favourite band. Right, now I've finished all the gathering quests given to me, but I have one crafting quest remaining, make a health potion, and I can't do it because I need peas and I use them all on something else. So if this game is about villagers, maybe I can just grow some peas. So I go back to town and head to my village portal. You choose which village you want to join. They're all instanced areas, so I go with Valhalla, because there is one spot left. They can hold 60. The village area looks fine. This game isn't really bothered about pushing the boat out or challenging the player. It's exactly what you'd expect an average MMO to be. I stick my house in a vacant plot and then try and plant some peas in the garden. I buy some seeds, use them on the floor, and then 4 hours. 4 hours I've got to wait for the peas. Are you taking the mick game? I have to wait 4 hours for them to grow. You know what? No. I'm going to water my sheep and then clip through my ephemeral fence and head on over to the harbour to take a boat over to the main city to see what that's like. The main city is fine. Like everything else in the game, it's a city, it's main, it's laid out fine. I say hi in the world chat, and then Portia asks me if I'm filming an episode of Worst MMO Ever. Unfortunately, yes, Portia. Yes, I am. I decide to grind through the main quest a bit more to see if it gets any more interesting, and while doing that, let's just read some reviews for this game. If you enjoy following detailed quest lines and the ability to collect and craft, then you will really enjoy this game. US server. Message me for in-game name and guild invite. Game is definitely a good one, but lacks good graphics. More, the combat system is very slow and lags when increase in player number in a map. This game is a mobile port. With that being said, I didn't find this any fun.
It is not. It's a PC MMO that was ported to mobile. Just, just want to set the record straight here.
Overall, 4 out of 10. You will grind a lot. You will die a lot. At about level 19, you will essentially hit the paywall. At that point, you will find it hard to progress unless you start buying things with real money. While this is not the worst MMO out there, it certainly isn't one of the best. The game is okay, but got boring rather quickly after about 15 days into it. Everything started to feel too...
That person played 100 hours. Just so you know, it's like playing The Witcher 3 in its entirety. It's like playing Skyrim in its entirety. 100 hours. I mean, when I don't like a game, I'm not playing 100 hours.
repetitive. Why doesn't /sit make you sit? Why do I keep standing back up? I'm not pressing anything. I'm typing /sit, pressing enter, and just instantly bouncing up. Is this a difficult system to program? Oh, hello, badly balanced audio, I've missed you. Check out what it sounds like when you attack a scritter first. The scritter has a response sound it's programmed to make, but the response sound is not programmed to match the audio levels of the rest of the game. Their sounds in combat are balanced, but their sounds at the start are not. So far, this game's colour palette is really carrying it, and the enemy design, especially this spectral spider, is visually quite pleasing, but mechanically it's just paint by numbers the MMO. It's like someone who had never played an MMO sat down with a checklist of what needed to be in one and put it in without understanding why it needs to be there. Crafting isn't just...
What would you say is some system unique to villagers and heroes? I think that I would say the fact that your skills are tied to your weapon and that you can combine weapon to get more skills is something quite unique, or at least I didn't saw it much elsewhere. Comment in the section down below about what makes villagers and heroes unique for you? And I mean mechanic wise, not like, oh, the community, just the mechanics. What V&H does that is unique, for in case there's new players watching this video and then they can go look in the comment section to see what's good about it.
Gathering, crafting, time sync, designed to make you walk all over the place. It is a way to connect your character to the unique resources within each area of the world and then build a unique looking or playing character. A questline isn't just a story on a string that pulls the character along because it happens to be there. It's an event that directly affects the character or the world the character lives in that we should feel connected to and compelled to get involved with. A combat system isn't just there to slow down the action between story beats. It is there to be part of the action, and each combat encounter should feel relevant or engaging or exciting or potentially dangerous to the player in some way, otherwise it's just pointless filler. Every aspect of an MMO is here, it just doesn't make me feel anything. In the same way, you could have every ingredient of a decent 3-course meal served to you, but each bit of food is bland and boring and you can tell there's no passion behind it. We need to get into this ghostly dome, and we're asked for a password, and we guess at Open Sesame and are told no, the password is Bar Ram U. Now this is a reference to the classic comedy film Babe, the one about a talking pig, and this is a perfect example of reference comedy done badly, and it highlights my feelings with this game. Referencing popular culture within games is fine, but the reference has to actually relate to the situation you are in or somehow be connected to the game, and this isn't either. This is just a writer saying, oh hey, remember Babe? That was a good film. This quest is about accessing a ghost inside a prison. You could have referenced Ghostbusters and gone with Gatekeeper or Own.
Yeah, I think it could be changed for that. Honestly, something about Ghostbusters I think would be better. And it was probably never mentioned before because a lot of people just go through the quest without reading. I mean, tell me in the comment, did you read all the lore, all the quest? Because I mean, honestly, while you progress in the game, the lore gets pretty good. The Black Thrush is a great um, quest line to follow for sure. Um, yeah,
Zool. You could have made a pop culture reference that's related to prisons, or related to ghosts, or related to sci-fi, or related to destroying shields. You could have said shut down every shield generator on the detention level and it still would have made slightly more sense than Bar Ram U. Here's another example of the game dropping the ball. Inside the prison is Tarquin, the dude the evil master once released, the guy that wrote the book, and Tarquin is held here by a wood spirit who demands he count every twig on every branch of every tree every day if he wants to be fed, and that's actually an awesome little setup. How do we free him? Do we overload the shield with twigs because there's so many? Do we burn down the forest to prevent the counting? Do we kill the wood spirit, or do we count the sticks ourselves? No. We go and get 3 unrelated items and then bring them back to him. Just how like we collected 3 items for the seer and the rat dude earlier. A complete mechanical disconnect between story beats and gameplay that you're tying to it. You ever gone to a shop at lunchtime to buy a meal deal, but you've arrived a little bit late and all the really good sandwiches or drinks are gone, so you have to have a less good one? And I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, you're just a bit disappointed. This game is that feeling. I fight my way through an underground goblin cave that we are somehow now at. Honestly, I stopped caring about the story a while ago. And the goblin boss is here and just, look, this is what the game considers to be a punctuating mini-boss fight.
You won!
Now I need to help this ghost collect ingredients for a potion, and we do that through collecting 3 items and bringing them back to her, because why change tradition? And finally, this dumb quest, which I have felt no personal connection to, comes to an end. We have to accuse one of the various incredibly forgettable NPCs we've met so far of being the malicious miscreant, so we go to all of them and accuse them all, and it's none of them. In true Scooby-Doo fashion, the evil dude was actually the actress all along. But it was actually someone pretending to be the actress, pretending to be the evil dude, pretending to be... And this leads us to a boss fight. Okay, finally, this is the Last Chance Saloon. The Hail Mary. You have an open arena, you have a boss monster. Now, come on, please let this be challenging. Let it have ads, mechanics, action, fear, adrenaline. This is your boss that you've built up the last 8 hours to. Show me what you can do. The only mechanic is run out of the red, and even if you do get caught, you don't take much damage, you just get stunned. There's no ads, no mechanical arena use, just a few attacks where the boss thrusts its crotch in your face, then dies by flopping on top of you and you stick out of its arse. What a diabolically bad boss fight. I go and hand in the quest and just...
Oh, come on, Josh. It's not that the boss is easy, it's that you're so experienced with MMOs. Just kidding, it's very easy indeed.
feel nothing. If you play this game, why? I'm not saying you're wrong for playing it, I just want to know why, out of all the MMORPGs, both free and paid, you've decided on this one. Why have you decided the most mediocre experience in all of mediocre land deserves your time? If this game...
Okay, look, I played Final Fantasy XIV for about 2 years. I was doing some Savage raiding, and I've met wonderful people, but it was subscription based, and I could only play at home. And with my work schedule, I ended up not being at home. So I started playing this one because on mobile, there's not many full-fledged MMO like this. Most MMO are a bunch of autoplay garbage stuff with incredibly bad translation, and most don't have all the systems in place. I played Adventure Quest 3D, but there's no crafting or gathering. I know that lately they added fishing, and but it's not. I'm not enjoying it as much as this one. Um, and anyway, so I started playing this one because of, basically convenience and the fact that it was full-fledged, that there was all the systems that is needed in an MMO. And then, as much as I progressed into the game, I've met people, I got invested in the lore, and yeah, I stuck with it, and I enjoy playing it, and to everyone who enjoy playing it, well, I mean, you win. Don't be ashamed to like it, and don't feel bad if uh, a YouTuber thinks it's a mediocre MMO. It's fine. I mean, if he feels that way, he's right. He feels it's mediocre. He didn't quite enjoy it, and it's fine. It's don't be offended or sad or I don't know. It's all good. If you enjoy, then I mean, it's fine. Play the game, enjoy it.
entered a competition for world's most average game, it wouldn't even come first, because even that would make it stand out. When people tell me they're making an MMO, this is what I imagine they're making. Ask yourself, why would a new player stick with this game? Why would anyone actively choose this over anything else? This is the MMO version of a Minecraft Let's Play YouTube.
I mean, Josh, also, this game won massively OP Indie MMO of the Year 2019. So it did quite stand out at some point in history, that's for sure.
YouTube channel ran by someone called Elite Gamer XXX666 FaZe Clan, who uploads unedited 2-hour survival streams with no dialogue. This game is an amateur dramatics performance of Romeo and Juliet, where the guy playing Romeo was an extra in the bill and the set designer once met someone who knew someone who worked with someone at the BBC. Everyone remembers their lines and the show goes fine, it's just completely forgettable. The final score after 8 dull hours of gameplay is given to accurately reflect how I feel. To end the review, I will award Villagers and Heroes microwave meal you bought from the reduced section at the end of the day because you can't be bothered to cook and you know this won't be a culinary delight, but it's warm and you're hungry. Out of 10. Thank you for watching. Another massive thank you to all the support.
Thank you, Josh, for the videos. I mean, more than 100,000 people saw it, and think about it, the exposure it got. I mean, if there's 1% people looking at this and saying, nah, I mean, I could use a MMO to play on the bus and lunch break. Well, it's 1,000 players that could try Villagers and Heroes, and I invite everyone to try it. I think it's a good game. I think the developers are very passionate about the game, even though it seems it's not something you can feel while playing it. I don't disagree. I don't know. I don't think it's soulless, but uh, yeah, just come and play, try it. It's an enjoyable MMO, and the community is nice. You'll meet people, you'll craft stuff, you'll kill stuff, and if you're like me, you will get invested in it, and you can enjoy it. And don't feel bad to enjoy the game. Stop watching this. Go play some V&H. Bye. Oh God, do I hope the audio is okay, because there's no way I'm redoing this. You're still there? Go play some V&H. Bye.